It's officially spring, so I'm sure for a lot of you that means putting your vanilla fragrances away. But wait, if you are a vanilla lover like me, I have some vanillas that I think work perfectly well year round, so even in the heat. If you're interested, then just keep watching. Hi, my name is Ayesha from simplyayesha.com. Here on YouTube, I make videos about fragrance, beauty, luxury, and lifestyle. If those are things you're interested in, please subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So as I said, I am a vanilla lover. I am not ready to put away my vanilla fragrances yet. And although it's warming up, I'm still in my vanilla era, like always, okay? So the fragrances I'm gonna share with you today are vanillas that I think work well year round. All of these fragrances, I feel like vanilla is one of the most prominent notes. So it's either the most prominent note or it's tied with another note to be the most prominent. So it's not just, you know, vanilla way in the base somewhere. No, these are actually vanilla fragrances. So all of the fragrances I think are year round appropriate. In the summer, I'll probably do another vanilla video that's more like summer vanillas because I feel like that's its own category, like the coconut vanilla type things. But for this video, these are just vanillas that I think are perfect year round. So even if it's cold where you live, I still think you can pull these off. And if it's hot where you live, I think you can pull these off as well. So I have a lot of fragrances, so we are not going to spend a lot of time on each one, but let's go ahead and get into them. So this first fragrance is from Obvious Parfums, and this is Un Vene. So this fragrance is a vanilla. How many times am I gonna say vanilla in this video? We shall see. But this is a vanilla fragrance, but it kind of comes off as a milky vanilla, but not extremely milky. So if you're not into lactonic scents, you still may like this. It comes off more just like creamy, milky, maybe like whipped cream vanilla. The vanilla in here itself is not extremely sweet. I think it's kind of like more one of those middle of the road vanillas where it kind of leans gourmand, but it kind of doesn't. So it's not extremely sweet. Then it's mixed with this kind of sweet, creamy milkiness. But this also has this kind of woody aromatic nature to it. If you like molecular fragrances like Juliet Has a Gun or Another 13, a lot of those give off this airy, woody note. This smells like the vanilla version of that, if that makes sense. So it's giving that airy woodiness, but it's still a vanilla, a lightweight vanilla with a milky undertone to it. It's pretty and easy to wear, and it's not so heavy or so thick that it would get cloying in the heat, in my opinion. So again, that's Un Vene from Obvious Parfums. The next fragrance is from Burberry, and this is the Original Goddess. So there is a newer version out of this that's Burberry Goddess Intense. I do not have that one. This is the original Burberry Goddess. So Burberry Goddess is a designer vanilla that I think is done very, very well. So to me, the vanilla in this leans gourmand, but it's not extremely cupcakey, but it does lean on that sweet gourmand side. And then there's a lavender note in this that gives it a bit of an herbal touch, a bit of an aromatic touch. But the lavender in here is easy going, in my opinion. A lot of times with lavender fragrances, I feel like they make fragrances lean more masculine. The lavender in here does not do that, in my opinion. It just kind of breaks up the vanilla. So this fragrance is pretty simple, but it's so well done. There's something so satisfying about wearing this. I find this to be a really easy reach. If you were going out of town somewhere, I feel like you could take this fragrance and make it work for every occasion while you're out of town. So you could wear this out on a date night. You could wear this to bed. You could wear this for running errands. I just feel like this is the type of vanilla that is just so easy. And I typically reach for this more in the warmer months just because I'm a big, like, y'all know I love my dark spicy scents, right? So generally in the colder months, I'm going for the deeper stuff. However, this one you could definitely wear in the colder months, but I have found that I prefer to wear this in the spring and summer because it is one of those vanillas that never overpowers me, but it still just smells pretty, easygoing, very likable, and very, very well done in my opinion. So again, that's Burberry Goddess. Next up is one of my favorite vanilla scents, and this is Nishane Ani. So I have Nishane Ani here, but we are also going to go ahead and talk about Ani X in this video because I do find them to be quite similar, and I know a lot of you own one or the other. So we're just going to talk about them together. So Nishane Ani is a bright, like citrusy, green, ginger, aromatic vanilla. The vanilla in here is quite thick and prominent, but this fragrance overall is brightened up by this green citrusy take. So for that reason, I feel like even though the vanilla in here is thick, it works year round for me. Now, I have heard some people say this is too much for them in the hot. I disagree because I feel like that ginger citrus just really shines. But I have heard some people say in the heat, this is too much. In that case, we have Ani X. So to me, Ani X smells like the original Ani. However, it's a little bit toned down. So this is a little easier going. The ginger is not as sharp. The greenness is not as sharp. The citruses are not as sharp. Overall, this is a more smooth, rounded composition that I feel like is just a little bit easier to wear. I actually wore this to a meeting the other day, and I was thinking I wanted to wear this, but I was like, you know what? We're going to be in close quarters, so I decided to go for this. And it gave me the same Nishane Ani vibes without doing the most. So just depending on which one you like better. I personally still love the original more. That's just me, but I do enjoy having both, and I love this scent profile so much that I'm fine with having both, but either one of them will work year round. So again, that's Nishane Ani and Nishane Ani X. This next fragrance is from Diptyque, and this is Eau Duelle. I have the Eau de Toilette version. The Eau de Parfum version does smell a little bit different. So I just wanted to note that we're talking about the Eau de Toilette version in this video. So Eau Duelle to me is a classic year-round vanilla. The vanilla in here is not gourmand. It's more of a spicy vanilla, but there is also some herbal touches to this. It has this kind of airy nature to it, like an aromatic touch to it. And in some ways, for me, it smells clean. So this is one of those vanillas that I can wear on the hottest of summer days. Like if I'm going to a theme park, I can wear this, okay? But at the same time, I've worn this when it's cold, and it still gives me that vanilla that I'm looking for. So this is a really beautiful one. I've heard that some people don't get along with this fragrance, like they just don't understand it, they don't like it. So maybe it's not a safe blind buy. But for me, this is so easygoing while still being super unique and super beautiful and just very elegant in my opinion. This is giving like spa vibes in my opinion. So again, that's Eau Duelle Eau de Toilette from Diptyque. Next up, we have Black Tie from Seline. And this fragrance is another non-gourmand vanilla. The vanilla in here is a little bit spicy. It actually smells like there's a bit of pepper in here. I don't know if black pepper is a note, but to me, this kind of smells like a peppery vanilla. It also feels like it has some muskiness to this vanilla and just this very sophisticated nature. So I always feel like whenever I think about this fragrance, I feel like the name lines up. So it's called Black Tie, which will, you know, would mean like a formal event. And this is a type of vanilla that if you're like a vanilla lover and you want to wear vanilla everywhere you go, this is a type of vanilla that I feel like you could perfectly fit into any formal black tie occasion. However, you can also wear this with a white t-shirt and jeans. It is just one of those super versatile vanillas, not super strong. It is more airy, more aromatic, more light, but it does last a good while. And it's just one of those vanillas that I never have to think about. It's really pretty. I feel like whenever I explain this fragrance, it doesn't come off as nice as it is. So you should definitely get your nose on this if you can. I do think that if you're not into Play-Doh vanillas, definitely sample this one. I don't think this smells like Play-Doh. Let's get that, you know, straight. I don't think it smells like Play-Doh. But if you're very sensitive to a Play-Doh smell, this kind of in the background gives a slight edge of the Play-Doh smell, but very elevated, okay? So definitely check this one out. Last time I checked, it wasn't available online for some reason. So if you have a Seline boutique near you, maybe check it out there. I don't think it's discontinued. It just says sold out on the Seline website right now. So again, that is Black Tie from Seline. This next fragrance may be controversial as a year-round vanilla, but for me, it's a year-round vanilla, so we're including it. This is from Maison Mataha, and this is Escapade Gourmand. So this fragrance made the rounds on social media a couple years ago. So I'm sure a lot of you all have this. And if you've never worn it in the heat, do it, okay? Try it. So this fragrance is a gourmand leaning vanilla. And to me, it smells like there's some caramel in here as well. So I think of it as a more caramelized vanilla, kind of gives off a bit of a creme brulee feel to it. But at the same time, it's translucent. So it's not super heavy, not super thick. It is sweet, but the way it plays on the skin, it is beautiful. This is one that when I first got it, I was not impressed. I'm not gonna lie. I sprayed it on paper and I'm like, this is what all the hype is about. But anyway, fast forward, wore it on skin, fell in love. This is one that I feel like just really warms up on the skin and becomes much, much better. So I will say that if you have not tried this on skin yet and you've only smelled it on paper, maybe try to get a sample, try it on your skin. I feel like if you like gourmand vanillas, then you probably should have this in your collection. And I know some of y'all are thinking this is too sweet for the heat. However, I will tell you, when I got this, I think it was in the summer, and I wanted to try it out. I wasn't planning on going anywhere. I wore it because I was just planning on being around my house, and then I ended up having to go somewhere, and it was hot that day and I was outside, okay, and it was doing what it was supposed to do. It wasn't too much, it wasn't too heavy, it wasn't too thick. So even though I probably would not have chosen this for a hot day, now that I've worn it in the heat, I know it can hold its own without being nauseating to me. So again, that's Escapade Gourmand from Maison Mataha. This next fragrance is from Matiere Premier, and this is Vanilla Powder. So this fragrance is a vanilla and coconut scent, but not in that typical vanilla coconut way that you may be used to experiencing. So if you have smelled things like Coco Vanille from Mansera, Holidays from Mansera, Alien Goddess, those types of coconut vanillas I feel are very, very different from vanilla powder. So to me, the vanilla in here is sweet, but not necessarily gourmand leaning, but it is sweet. There is a coconut note in here, and to me, it smells like the meat of a coconut. So it's giving it that kind of creamy texture of coconut, but it doesn't smell sunscreeny anyway. It doesn't smell tropical to me. It's just more so giving that creamy meat of the coconut smell. This also smells a little bit powdery. So whenever I think about this, I think about like a dry vanilla powder. That's the name of it. But yeah, a dry like vanilla coconut powder type scent. It is really pretty. And if you are not super into gourmands, but you want to try a vanilla, maybe try this one. This one works well year round for me. I was a little bit nervous that this would go the route of sunscreen because it has a coconut note in there, but to me, it definitely does not. So I can wear this perfectly fine in the winter. It's strong enough for that, but I've also worn this in the summer and the notes are light enough for that. So this is like a perfect, like versatile vanilla in my opinion. So again, that's Vanilla Powder from Matiere Premier. This next fragrance is from Penhaligon, and this is the Audacity. So this fragrance I love. It is a non-gourmand vanilla. It is a little spicy. It does have this feeling of a suede note, so like a leathery tone to it. But there's also this bright kind of herbal lift to this fragrance, like a slight bit of greenness to this fragrance that to me puts it in the category of I can wear this year round, okay? It also has this kind of translucent nature that allows this deeper vanilla to be worn year round in my opinion. So I have talked about this in reference to YSL Baby Cat and how they are similar, and they are similar. I will say if you want a year-round version of Baby Cat, then go for this, okay? Because this one to me is lighter, less incensey than Baby Cat. Much easier to wear in my opinion, but the scent profile is pretty much the same. It's a gorgeous scent, and if you are like me and you don't want to give up your heavy dark vanillas, but you also don't want to like overpower yourself and choke others out, try this one. I have worn it in the heat. I've actually worn this to a doctor's office visit and got tons of compliments on it, okay? But I've worn it out in Florida, heat and humidity, and I didn't feel like it was overpowering. I've also worn this out on cold days and felt like it held up enough for me. So I would highly recommend this if you like that kind of leathery vanilla scent profile. So again, that's the Audacity from Penhaligon. This next fragrance is from Tom Ford, and this is Metallique. So this fragrance, I believe, has been discontinued, but you can still find bottles. So I would say if this fragrance sounds interesting at all to you, make sure you scoop it up before it becomes like completely unavailable. Check out my description box. If I can find it, I will link it. Every other time that I've tried to link this fragrance, I have been able to successfully find it. So I'm confident that I'll still be able to find it. So make sure you check that out if you're interested. Anyway, Metallique is a metallic vanilla. So the vanilla in here is sweet. This one is like a thicker, like creamy, almost leaning ice cream type of vanilla. Leaning though, not fully there, but leaning in that type of direction. It kind of reminds me of a melted ice cream type of vanilla. However, there is a metallic note in here that kind of is in opposition to that vanilla. So whenever I think about this fragrance, I think about cold meets warmth. Okay, so you got that warm vanilla, but then you're blocking it off with this cold metallic feel. Sounds crazy, maybe is crazy. Smells amazing though. I love this fragrance. It is such an easy reach for me. It's one of those fragrances that is complex, but I feel like the people that love it really love it and can wear it any time of year, anywhere, no problems. It's not super heavy. It's kind of airy, translucent on the skin. And I know some people complain about that in this fragrance, but I feel like that really allows it to be versatile. I feel like if this was very intense and deep and just very out there, it wouldn't be super wearable to me. So anyway, I love Metallique. I feel like I've talked about this fragrance for so many years, but y'all, that's how you know it's true love. Okay, it's my second bottle. I used to have the small bottle. I ran through it and now I'm on my big bottle and I still love it just as much today. Like as I'm talking about it, I literally want to go buy a backup bottle because I'm scared that I'll use this up and then I won't be able to get it again. But anyway, again, that is Tom Ford Metallique. This next fragrance is from Sniff and this is Vanilla Vice. So this was sent to me sometime last year, but I believe this may be my first time talking about it. I'm not sure. Anyway, Vanilla Vice, I can't say I've worn it a ton, right? I have not worn it a ton. However, I do really enjoy it. So to me, this was a gourmand leaning vanilla. It leans in that ice cream type of vanilla direction. So it gives me a little bit of milkiness, a little bit of creaminess, that type of vanilla. I also feel like there is some sort of like caramel undertone to this, but it's not done too heavy. The Sniff fragrances are eau de toilettes, and I feel like for this particular fragrance, that's great, because if this was super heavy or super thick, it definitely wouldn't work for summertime. However, I feel like this is just sweet enough, just ice cream-ish enough that you can wear this on the hottest of days, but it's still appropriate to wear when it's cold outside as well. It's a really pretty, easygoing, fun, gourmand vanilla scent. So again, that's Vanilla Vice from Sniff. This next fragrance is from Xerjoff, and this is part of the Cosmopolitan line. It's called Dama Bianca. This fragrance is well known in the fragrance space, but it's one that I don't feel like really gets talked about anymore. I guess people are over it, but I still think it's beautiful. So this is a sweet vanilla. Again, I wouldn't necessarily call it a gourmand vanilla though, but it is sweet. It does have some fruits at the top, so lime and kumquat, I believe. And if you've never smelled kumquat, it is a citrus fruit that kind of smells like a mix of an orange and a lime to me. So you have those bright fruits mixed with a sweet leaning vanilla and then florals in the background. This is a fragrance that I typically reach for more in the spring. I kind of put this in my spring section. However, I have worn this year round and think it works well enough year round, because although this is like a pretty girl feminine scent, the vanilla that's actually in here, it leans sweet, but it also has some spice to it. Like it has some oomph to it. Not a lot, but it has some. And I feel like that allows me to get different experiences from it depending on the weather. So when it's hot outside, I feel like I pick up more of the citrusy florals with the vanilla. Whereas when it's cold outside, on my skin, it tends to pull more of that deeper vanilla. I don't know if that happens to you all, but to me, climate really makes a difference in how my fragrances smell on me. I don't know if it's just my nose being more attuned to certain notes in the cold, or if it's actually the climate. Y'all let me know if you've tried this in the cold and you've tried it in the warmth. Does it smell different to you? Anyway, it is a beautiful scent, an easygoing scent, perfect for like weddings, for brunch, for running errands, for going on a date. Like, it's just a beautiful, easygoing vanilla scent that I feel is very feminine and very pretty. So again, that is Dama Bianca from Xerjoff. This next fragrance is from Dries Van Noten, and this is Vene Camouflage. So this came out last year. I picked it up blindly for my birthday. Y'all know I be wilding out when it's my birthday fragrance hauls, right? But I picked this up blindly, but I was not disappointed. So this is a very green vanilla. This is probably not a safe blind buy because the greenness in here is quite prominent. I couldn't tell you what type of plant it is, but when I smell this, I just think about green grass, green plants. I think about springtime when I smell this. So it's quite green. However, the vanilla in here is warm, it's sweet, it's inviting, and that's mixed with this fresh greenness. So it's a nice juxtaposition for me. There also seems to be some spices in here. I couldn't tell you what, but some light spicy notes in the background of this fragrance. This is a fragrance that I feel like you have to wear in order to determine if it's going to work for you. This is not a smells good on paper fragrance. Like it smells good to me, but I've worn this and it smells much better on my skin. So if you like something like Angelique Noir from Guerlain, this may be something you would like, just depending. I do feel like they're kind of in the same class, but different enough to own both. Now, when I particularly think about this fragrance, it makes me think of spring because I see green when I smell this. Like when I smell this, I see the color green. And so that just reminds me of spring. However, I wore this in probably December. I think it's probably the last time I wore this. And the vanilla was strong enough in it that I didn't feel like it was out of place. Like it was a colder day, but I didn't feel like I was out of place wearing this bright green, fresh vanilla scent. So I think this will work well year round. Although for me, I'm probably going to stick to spring and summer for this one. But since I've tried it in the cold, I know it works. And so year round appropriate. If this sounds interesting, I would say try to get a sample if you can and try it out. Because if you're looking for like a perfect spring, summer vanilla, this may be it for you. A lot of people don't like this though, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that. A lot of people do not like this. So try this. It's not a safe blind buy. Again, that's Vene Camouflage from Dries Van Noten. So I've been talking a lot, but I have 3 more fragrances. And this portion of the video is basically like a fragrance haul because I purchased all 3 of these fragrances recently. One of them I have worn a bit because I took it out of town with me for spring break. The other 2 I have not worn at all. So this is kind of like a haul portion of this video, but I also feel like I have sniffed all 3 of them and I do feel like they're probably going to be year-round appropriate. But for the ones I haven't worn, you know, take that portion with a grain of salt. It may not be year-round appropriate, okay, because I haven't worn them on my body. I can't tell you for sure. Anyway, let's get into the one that I've worn so far, and this is from the brand Lease. It's called Shushu. So this fragrance is really beautiful. You can see I have a bit of a dent. I took this with me on spring break and wore it a few days and I really, really enjoyed it. So to me, this is a vanilla fragrance, but it has this kind of lemon at the top of it. It smells like the zest of a lemon though, so it's pretty, I don't want to say sharp, but it has that bright, like zingy lemon to it. The vanilla in here does round that out and it becomes more of a creamy vanilla with a little bit of lemon zest to it. I feel like there are other notes in here that kind of give it a little tiny bit of depth, but overall I think of it as a creamy vanilla with a little bit of lemon to it. However, it doesn't smell like the other lemon gourmands I have. This almost smells musky in a way. Very easygoing gourmand scent, not extremely photorealistic, just very easygoing. It reminds me of a body cream in that way. Like it gives off those type of vibes. Really pretty, really easy to wear. And when I went on spring break, we had crazy weather. So some of the time I was there, it was cold and sometimes it was hot. And I wore it in both instances and felt like it worked perfectly. It gave me that kind of calming feeling, gave me that vanilla feel, but it wasn't too thick or too heavy. Now, I did get a question. I think I showed this on Instagram. I did get a question of somebody asking me, was it just like wearing nothing? And I get what they're saying. Like, you look at this, it looks like a brand that would just be like very light, very elegant, like barely their scents. And I get it. This is a light fragrance, but it's enough for me. Like, it's not to the point where I feel like I can't smell it. I just feel like it's a light, elegant scent. It's not going to be beast mode. No. No, this is definitely more of a personal scent, a scent bubble scent, but I found that it actually lasts on me a really long time. I would say probably like 8 hours. It lasted on me. It's just one of those like closer to the skin type scents without being a full-on skin scent. So I love it. Can't wait to wear it more. Again, that's Shushu from Lease. This next fragrance I have been wanting for months. I've wanted it since I've seen the first promo images for it. And I finally just went ahead and decided to get it. So this is from the brand Fugazi, and this is called Vanilla Haze. So this fragrance is a vanilla fragrance. Like I said, I haven't worn this one or the next one. So to me, this smells like a vanilla fragrance that has some caramel to it. It kind of also smells like there's something like a waffle cone or something in it. It gives me waffle cone ice cream kind of vibes. But then there's also this kind of freshness to it. Almost like a molecular feel underneath the sweet ice cream cone vibe. So I think this is going to work well for me year round. Again, I don't know because I have not worn this on skin at all. Take this with a grain of salt, but I'm definitely going to try it out in this warm weather and see how it works out. Again, that's Vanilla Haze from Fugazi. And this last fragrance is one that I have wanted for literal years, probably 4+ years at this point. I feel like this is one of those fragrances that when I first started really getting into fragrance and watching fragrance YouTube like 5 years ago, this is one of those fragrances that I felt was like a quintessential vanilla, but I just never got around to getting it. So this is Tiot from Indult Paris. So this is an oldie, but it's one that I've wanted for such a long time, and I just finally decided to bite the bullet. Twisted Lily recently started carrying this, and so I used my discount code and ordered it. But let's talk about how it smells. So to me, this smells like a basic but pretty gourmand vanilla. This does lean in the cupcakey direction, but not super far extreme. So you know how now we have a lot of like super literal gourmands and super cupcakey vanillas, or vanillas that smell like really intense cake batter. This leans in that direction without going too far. So this is the restrained version of those, in my opinion, just from how I smell it. It also smells like there's a bit of musk in this fragrance that gives it a bit of a skin type vibe, not necessarily a clean laundry musk, but more of like a clean skin type of musk. And yeah, it smells simple but beautiful, and we are actually going to make this my scent of the day, y'all. I've been waiting to wear this because I wanted to put it on a haul video for y'all, but I'm putting it in this video instead, and I'm going to wear it today. So hopefully this works out well for me year round. To me, it smells like it's light enough to wear year round as long as you like sweet fragrances, but it also smells like sweet enough, thick enough to wear during the winter as well. So I'm going to apply this today. Wish me luck. Again, that is Indult Tiot. So that was a lot of talking, y'all. Those are the vanillas that I think are year-round appropriate. So spring, summer, fall, winter, I think these fragrances will work for all those occasions. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Hopefully you can use it as a reference that if maybe you're thinking about adding a vanilla to your fragrance, maybe one of these will work out for you. Let me know if you try any of the fragrances that I mentioned, and let me know what is your favorite year-round vanilla fragrance. Put that in the comments. I think it would help everybody else who's watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I upload videos weekly, so make sure you have that notification bell on so that you don't miss a video from me. Also, make sure you check out my description box. Down there I have links to all the products that I mentioned, along with any discount codes that I may have. I also have links to everywhere else you can find me. So my website, www.simplyayesha.com, and my social media, which right now is Instagram and TikTok. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.